So the OnePlus model never settled has run its course. Unfortunately, it has settled on ending operations in North America and Europe. Here's the OnePlus 13, and I will not settle for less. I am taking it back to its roots, flashing custom ROMs. If you didn't know, before OxygenOS, the very first OnePlus ran on CyanogenMod. Now that is no longer the ROM existing. The next best thing we have is Lineage OS. So follow this tutorial, step-by-step guide. Hope you enjoy. Gonna take it back to its roots. We're going out with a bang. All right, so before we actually flash Lineage OS, we do have to make some setting changes on the phone. Now, these may or may not be explained in full detail wherever you're getting a flash ROM guide. Developers are kind of experienced with this kind of thing, so they kind of assume that you know what you're doing. But I'm covering in full detail just so that you know what to do. So let's go to settings. We're going to go to about the device. We're going to go to version, and I've already started doing this a couple times, but you're going to want to click version multiple times, fast, see there, until you says you are now a developer. So once we've done that, we're going to go back here, system and update, developer options, and we're going to look for two settings. We're going to do OEM unlocking, enable that, and then we're going to go to USB debugging. And then we're going to go OK. And then we're ready. Interesting. Usually it tells you, there you go. Oddly enough, it will tell you no, it needs to restart the phone. So let's go ahead and just restart the phone so that those settings stay. Okay, so restart the phone. So we prepped the phone, so now we can go ahead and move to the computer and do some of the things so that we can get Lineage OS. So almost there. All right, so we did prep the phone settings and we can start to flash the ROM, Lineage OS. However, let's pause here and read this because big disclaimer, if you weren't aware, things have changed in the rooting world. And unfortunately, this is something that you just need to be mindful of. So OnePlus did start changing their software, meaning at a certain point, they've no longer allowed users to go from earlier software. So I'll link this whole article in the description, but what you really need to know is if you are using the Oppo device or a OnePlus device, and if you go into your settings and you look for the software version like I did, mine was on 15.00 something, then .822, right? Well, if your version is 16.0.3.501, what I've highlighted there, or anything above that number, meaning anything newer, well, that means you cannot go to anything older. You can't go to 16.0.2, 16. You can't go to 15. If you try to go down to those numbers when you are at this number highlighted there or anything above, you will be breaking your phone. Again, I'll have the article there, but that's pretty much the gist of this article. No downgrading when you are on this type of software or newer and trying to go lower. And I'm gonna be a little bit redundant here, but I just want to make sure that it's clear. I've got a couple scenarios so that we can kind of break this down. So again, the first one being bad. So if we are on ColorOS or OxygenOS, and it is again that number 16.0.3 or anything above that, and we for whatever reason want to go downgrade, and if it's even 16.02, again that's a lower number, or anything even lower than that, so 15, then you're going to break your phone. So do not go anything lower. This is bad. Now the one below this is maybe, and I put maybe because I haven't confirmed this. Don't quote me on it. For anyone more experienced, feel free to correct me. No hard feelings. But I was thinking this logic here. So if I have the phone, Oppo or Oxygen OS, and it's on software version 15.0, all the way .822, which is what I had when I was showing the phone. And now I say one day I want to go flash Lineage OS, which is going to bump me to Android 16. Well, let's say I tried Lineage OS ROM, I don't like it, and for whatever reason I want to go flash back to that original 15.0.822. I believe you may be good. Because anti-rollback was introduced in the Oppo or Oxygen ROM 16.03. I don't think this is going to trip the anti-rollback because, again, I just changed to Lineage, not OxygenOS 16 and above. If that makes sense. However, I'm putting maybe because you are effectively going from 15 to 16 back to 15. I do not think that is the best way to do this. If you do, for a reason, want to go back all the way to 15, don't quote me on this. I wouldn't do this one. If anyone wants to correct me, please do. But I'm putting maybe. So if we are going to change Lineage OS, this is essentially what I think you should do if you should ever need to go back to your OxygenOS or ColorOS stock. So we start with 15.0, .822, which is what I have. I'm going to change that by flashing Lineage OS. I'm going to bump up to Android 16. Say I don't like Lineage OS Android 16 and I want to go back to OxygenOS, right? Well, in that case, what I would recommend, so there are no problems, is that you flash OxygenOS, but with the latest software, that being anything above 16.03 or newer. Meaning, I'm not going to be going anytime back to 15. So it's just, stock 15, Lineage, Android 16, and then it's bye-bye forever. Earlier versions, 15, OxygenOS. It's only 16.04 and above from now on. Do not ever flash anything lower than that. So that's if you don't like Lineage OS. All right. I know I was getting a lot of redundancy there, especially having to say those long software versions, but I'm just really trying to break this down so you can fully understand that. So hopefully that was easy to digest. But now that we've covered that, let's go on to the fun, which is actually changing the OxygenOS to Lineage OS. All right, so now for the fun part, we're going to flash Lineage OS. And so I'm going to be showing my computer screen, but also to the side the phone, because I'll be doing some things on the computer's going to talk to the phone, and they're going to interact, and we'll see how things behave. So let's look at the computer. Linux, Mac, Windows, whatever you're using, open up your browser app, and let's just go to Google, and we're going to type Lineage OS. It'll be the first one. If you see this web page, then you're at the right spot. Click Get Lineage OS. Then we're going to scroll down, look for devices, OnePlus, OnePlus 13. Click Installation. So here, obviously you could read at your own pace, but you're following here with me, and let's just, speed through this and essentially get the quick points. Warning, pretty much know what you're flashing. We're going to be flashing the latest Lineage OS. First and most important, make sure you're reading everything. Kind of already gone through this. So yeah, feel free to know that you're in good hands. Make sure your computer has ADB and fastboot. So you're going to get these two programs. These are essential tools that are going to communicate to the phone to be able to flash the ROM, Lineage OS. So we're going to look at setup instructions. So click here. We're on step 2. I know it looks like a lot, but what we're doing here is essentially clicking here, this link. I've downloaded this multiple times, but yeah, so you're going to click that and you're going to get that package, which will open up. Now, disclaimer, Lineage OS has just pretty much linked what you can get on the Google side. So if you, for whatever reason, feel paranoid and you don't want to get it through Lineage, go ahead and go to Google, type Google ADB. That'll be the first page you hear. And if you scroll down here, you're now looking at Android Debug Bridge. So then you'll click on Download it here, scroll down, and you'll get the one appropriate to what type of computer you're using, Windows, Mac, Linux. So in my case, it's a Windows. I'm using a Dell laptop, but it is Windows. So you download there, and yeah, same thing. So we're going to go ahead and just delete this one. I'll delete this one as well. So just so we can backtrack, I'm going to just use what Lineage is providing us. I trust Lineage, they're a good community. And so once we get that, we'll go ahead and extract. And then the folder extracted, when you do that, it opens up the folder. But pretty much, we'll close it out. And if you go to the downloads, I'm already there. This is what the zip file looks like. You can always get the file here. This is what was extracted. We opened it up, and we'll be working in this folder a little later. So we'll get back to this, but yes, we've downloaded the ADB and fastboot. Still cannot use it though, because we're going to need a Google USB driver. So there are some extra steps here that they recommend. Essentially configuring your settings so to make it work, to make this whole process work. I'm going to skip the steps 3 and 4 because I did try setting up this whole recommended path, but I just was not having luck. I will show you what to do instead. So skip 3 and 4. We need to download the USB drivers though. The USB drivers are what essentially are going to help us, have the computer know what the phone is. So without that, even though we have the tools, we cannot communicate with one another. So we click that link, get the Google USB driver. We'll click download the Google USB driver zip. Okay, scroll down, disclaimers, blah, blah, blah. We'll agree, and we'll download. And then let's go ahead and open this. And we'll extract this. And again, so this was the extracted folder that we got when we downloaded the Google USB driver. And we'll double click that. And we're going to be doing some configurations to this one here. So we have this Google USB driver. Great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect the phone. And again, we already got it prepped, right? We went to developer options, enabled OEM unlocking, enabled USB debugging. I'm using the original cable provided. You don't have to use it, but just find something, a USB-C cable that can do data transferring. Make sure that it's working appropriately. So when we have it connected, we'll then go to the Windows PC. We'll click Device Manager. And we're trying to find the device. So here is the device. This is where it can get a little different. I'm having difficulty in finding the device as shown in this guide. I'll link this guide here, and essentially if you guys are able to find your device as shown in device managers and under other devices, then you'll follow the steps here in this guide right below where it says install USB drivers via Android, blah, blah, blah. When you go to device managers, this guide's saying that it'll show up in other devices. For some reason, mine's not doing that. I keep finding it in portable devices here. I do have the phone when plugged in, I click transferring via USB. We do want it to be on the file transfer setting, which I already have it there. But yeah, mine is not under other devices. It's under portable devices. Not a problem. What we need to do is essentially update the driver. So wherever your phone is showing up, we're just going to find it and then update the drivers. So I right-clicked on that, and then you get this window. We're going to browse my computer for drivers. We're going to not select the first one. Well, let me pick a list. Okay. And then we're going to do have a disk. So we're going to click that. Here, we're just gonna browse where that folder is with the file. In my case, it's in downloads, the extracted folder, USB driver, and then we're gonna click that one there. We click that, and then we click OK. So in this case, I have an issue, and it's because my Dell Windows laptop has enabled the digital signature. So what I need to do is I need to restart my computer, and I'm going to get into some settings to disable that setting to allow me to then download this. So you may or may not experience this. But I'll show you what I need to do. If once that disable signature is disabled, it would allow me to proceed. But in this case, I cannot. So I'm going to just exit out of this. Okay. I'm going to pause from sharing my screen, but I'm going to show you what it looks like when you restart. And when you restart your computer, be prepared to, you may need to do what's called the Bitlocker. And if you go to this site here, just type on Google, find your Bitlocker recovery key. Microsoft provides a great tutorial video here on what that all means. Pretty much, you're going to be, for security reasons, putting the recovery keys tied to your particular device. I have those written down on mine. I'm not going to show you the full key, but I'll show you what it looks like to get into that menu. All right, so we're going to close all of this out because we need to disable that setting for digital signature. So let's go ahead and restart my computer. So what I'm going to do, and this may vary if you're not using a Dell laptop, but I will do restart. So I'm going to hold Shift key and then hit restart. All right, so in my case, I'll need to now go to troubleshoot, advanced options. I need to go to startup settings, and it's gonna tell me all these options here. The one I'm trying to do is disable driver signature enforcement. So when I click restart, I'm gonna be rapidly pressing F7. You can do or 7. So I'm gonna do F7 though. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so now I need to enter my recovery key. Again, you'll reference that Microsoft video that I'm referring to. I'm going to put this off to the side now, so you can just see this, because I'm going to enter this recovery key. All right, so let's just show you here. Once I've entered my recovery key, it tells me the options that I can now do. So I'm going to press number 7 because I want to disable that driver signature enforcement. So press 7. And now we're going to see a difference when I try to update the driver like I was showing you in Device Manager. So, okay, so we're in the computer. Phone is still plugged in, so nothing changed there. Let's go over and I'm going to show you the phone now. And we're going to go into Device Managers again. All right, so now I am doing Device Managers again. Phone is still plugged in. We're going to go do the same thing that we did before, but again, we've disabled the signature enforcement. That's right. There was a step I missed. So one of the things that, even though I've done the digital signature, that I need to do is I need to alter that USB driver file. So we're gonna right click it, open with Notepad. Yep, we're gonna click open. That's fine. I'm gonna make some alterations to this, so bear with me. Yes, that's what I needed. So I need to go into the file. I'm going to scroll down. There's a section I need to update. And here we go. So under this here, just under Google, where I have it highlighted, google.ntamd64, I'm going to alter this file so that it has the following. So I'm going to take this, so I'm going to get that, Control C, copy, and so I'm just going to copy that, but I'm going to change it, and I'm going to call this, instead of Google Nexus 1, OnePlus 13, because that's what my device name is, and we're going to alter these values. And where we get those values is we got to go to the portal devices again, right click, properties, we go into the details, and here we're going to change device description to hardware IDs, and we're taking these values and then changing them over to our document. So the shorter one, the one I have clicked there, just ending in 00, and you can follow it, it's pretty straightforward, but it's going to belong for the USB single ADB interface. So this top shorter one, that's my first value there. Okay. Now the longer text value here is going to be for that second one. So I'm going to show you, copy this one. And as you can see, when all these devices have all the devices have single and then composite. So the composite one is the longer value. So I'm going to just erase that and then copy that. So and now I'm going to Control S to save the file. So what I've done there is I've essentially have saved this file. So now when I update the driver, browse my computer, let me pick, I'm going to have a disk, open, and as you can see, when I altered the file, now it's allowing me, and it's knowing that this phone is going to be able to talk with ADB because I'm installing the drivers. So that's great. So I had to disable the signature, I had to alter the document, enter those values, and now when I click next, I'm installing the drivers. I'm going to install the driver anyway, and I've successfully installed it. So close that, and we see that my OnePlus is no longer in the portal devices. It's registered as an Android device, so that's great. Cool. So now I've set it up where my computer has a driver and I have the Android tools to be talking to the device. So now we can go minimize this. We're going to go back to that folder where we got the ADB and fastboot tools. So look for your folder. Mine's in the downloads. Now this is where you want to be. And now we're going to go right click, open to the terminal, and you'll get this. So here now we'll just do PowerShell, and we're going to run some of these commands. The first one being this one, /ADB devices. When I do this, my phone does this, and I'm going to click always allow this computer for debugging. Great. And now on my screen here, you see it says it found a phone and it was unauthorized. But now when I do the same command, we see device. It's because I allowed authorize. So great. The phone is connected. It's communicating with the computer, and so we can now proceed on to the rest of the guide. So let's go back to Lineage OS, right? And so we completed step 2. We have enabled USB debugging. We make sure that the device that we're working on is one of the ones that says that it's applicable. Mine's a CPH2655. So great. So we're good. we can proceed. The next thing is just saying is if your phone has some issues, Wi-Fi, LTE, whatever, you just simply change the ROM is not going to fix that. So just know that. Remove everything. Essentially, like Google accounts, the best way to do this is just factory reset your phone. Pretty simple. And then just a warning about, LineageOS has no responsibility for any sort of warranty that you may void by doing this stuff. And then lastly, make sure your phone is on Android 15 or 16. I will say though, if you are doing this process, just make sure that you do your research, because OnePlus did come out with what's called like an anti-rollback. Pretty much the easiest way to explain it is if your phone is on Android 16 and above, OxygenOS 16, you may or may not be able to flash, and if you do, you may break your phone. So best case scenario, just stick with Android 15 if you're doing this. And yeah, my phone's Android 15. So we're just going to go ahead and skip. And now we can run these commands because everything's working. It's the phone is on an ADB recognized device. So the first one is we're going to do this. So we're going to copy this and post it into the terminal. And why did it not work? So we need to do ./ADB. There you go. So in my case, you have to do ./ and then that command. Okay. And now the phone's doing something there. It's in fastboot. Perfect. So you do got it in fastboot. So then you can also boot in fastboot with this other one, this other combination that says, but I did it through the terminal way. So now once we're in this, we're going to get this other command. So copy this, and we're going to put it in the terminal. We may need to do that dot. Let's see. Yeah, so we're going to do ./fastboot devices. And let's see, what did it do? If you don't get anything, make sure to put, if you don't get anything, so I didn't get anything when I typed that. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't get anything. So the next thing that I'll need to make sure is in Windows, go to my device manager, and I'll make sure that it doesn't show a triangle. So again, my phone, it does show a triangle. So that means I should not proceed. No worries. What we'll do is update the drivers. Right? Nope. Pick from the list. Enter device. Have the disk. Right? And then we just installed the drivers again. Okay. And now let's do this again. Go to device manager, and we got to make sure that there's no triangle. Yeah, there's under device, I don't see it. A triangle, other devices, I don't see the Android with the triangle. I don't see under anywhere else portable devices. So yeah, what we wanted to see is other devices. The Android device with the triangle is no longer showing, so we're in the clear. We're good to proceed since we've reinstalled the ADB interface. So let's go ahead and go back to the fastboot devices. So then we'll do ./ again. Okay, so now we see that we actually saw the command. And as we noticed in the guide, it says if you don't get it, it could be to an error. We fixed that error because as we noticed, when we went to device managers, we noticed Android and had that triangle sign. We fixed it by reinstalling the ADB device. And just to recap again, we ran the command fastboot devices. ADB is working as proper. And so yeah, the the computer and the phone are talking as they need to be. So at this point, the device may display some prompts. So, okay, so now that I went too fast. So we confirmed that it's no error, ADB is working. So let's go ahead and run this number 5 command. Okay, and we're going to do, /fastboot flashing unlock. And there we go. And then now we get this, and it says, do you want to unlock the bootloader? And I'm going to click, please click the volume keys. You know, custom ROM is not subject to same level testing. It just says, you know, you have your risk, you know, and then you're going to have to do select whether to unlock the bootloader, then the power button. So up is do not unlock, and down is unlock. So we're going to do unlock. Oh, there you go. So you move with this one, and then the power. So we're going to unlock the bootloader. Okay, so now that we've done that, it's doing some things here. Okay, and so while that's happening, on the screen now, I'm going to go, if the device is not automatically rebooted, it should now be unlocked. Since the device resets completely, you will need to re-enable USB debugging. So let it do its thing. So that's the screen you'll see now that I've unlocked the bootloader. It'll show that prompt. Okay, so I've unlocked it. I'll have to go ahead and just go through all of this again. Skip. We're going to skip everything. Skip this. Just agree. We're doing all this just to get to where we go on the settings, because we need to do USB debugging again. So we're going to go to version, click the version until we hit developer again, system update, developer options. We're looking for USB debugging. So we did that. So yep, and then we're going to just allow here. Perfect. OME locker, you see that we are not touching that because it's already unlocked. So it's just the USB debugging. So now that it's authorized and the computer knows, we're going to go next step. Okay, great. And now we're going to get the good stuff. So we're going to go to download here. This is where we're downloading the files for Lineage. And it says download the following. So we're going to download a boot, a DTBO, INIT, VB meta, and vendor. So 1, 3, 4, 5 files. So so these are the files corresponding with Lineage OS 23.2. The boot. All right, guys. So back. So as you can see, these are the 3, 4, 5 files that I need. So we got that. So we're going to power up the device. And the way it says to do it is we're going to power it off. And then it's telling me to do volume up. So we're going to power it on like this. Holding volume up, volume down, and power. Okay. And then let's see. So now we don't want the device on. Come on. I'm going to move these files. These are some stock files, but I don't want them to conflict with the files that I need to use. So I'm just changing these. The ones I moved are stock OnePlus files. These are the Lineage files. So we had to power off the device and boot it into bootloader. So to do that, let's unplug this because that was causing issues. So let's go, nope, power it off. Okay. And then boot it into bootloader. So it says it's now off, so now I'm holding volume up, volume down, and there we go. Great. And we're going to do there we go. And I'm going to move these files all in this folder because that's where I'm running my commands. Come on. So I moved all those files into the platform tools. And now we're going to, because we're in bootloader mode, we're going to run these. So we're going to flash the boot image. We're going to flash all these in the order as shown. So go back to the terminal and we're going to do the first one. Okay, so we've sent that one and it says okay. And then we do the next one. Okay, perfect. Third one. Third one's done. Fourth file. Fourth file. What happened there? Something happened with the fourth file. Oh, there was a prompt saying that like it was trying to open it, so maybe that's what happened. There's no vbeta file. Oh, it did not carry over? Yeah, it didn't look like that VBM meta file did not carry over. So no worries, guys. Just bear with me. We need to move it over there. Some things just take a couple tries. So it's in the folder now. So for some reason, it didn't want to carry over. So let's do it again. Okay, so there we go. The VB meta file is good. That was the fourth one. And then we need the last one here. The vendor. Okay, that is all the five files that I needed to flash. And now the last thing I need to do is fastboot reboot loader. So copy that. We'll do the dot, we'll do the slash, and then do this command. And then the phone is doing its thing. And on this one, I'll go to next step. And it says to simply download the latest recovery image. So I'm going to download Lineage Recovery. And that's going to be the file named recovery.img. So let's do that. Okay, so we'll keep it. Okay, and again, moving all files downloaded to the working folder, the platform tools folder, that is. So we'll do this, and we'll move it. Oh. So we've moved it to the platform tools. Great. And then going back to the guide, we're getting this command, control, and we're now going to open up terminal again. Sorry guys, so many windows open. Minimize that. So /, that's the command, next command here. Okay. And now we're pretty much sending that recovery there to the phone. Great. And now it's saying, now reboot into recovery to verify the installation. Use the menu to navigate and select recovery option. Okay, guys, tell me, please, what the most device. Guys, what are you telling me to do? So I've flashed it. I've flashed recovery image. It said okay. And then now reboot into recovery to verify installation. Use the menu to navigate and select recovery option. So I'm going to go to, oh, there we go. There we go. So we're just toggling the phone until we see recovery mode. That could have been a little bit clearer to say, but yeah, click your volume keys, and then we're going to do power. And now it should reboot into something different. And it says if your recovery does not show the Lineage logo, you've accidentally booted into the wrong recovery. So let's see. Okay, so great. We're seeing the Lineage recovery. So let's put this down. And now let's go to the next step. And now it says download the Lineage zip file that you'd like to install. So I'm going to go to Lineage zip file. And I'm just going to do the very latest one here at the top. Okay, and so while that's downloading, let's go back to the guide. So Lineage is downloading. It says now select the factory set, then format. So we're going to go down. So again, oh, there we go. Oh, so I can actually touch the screen there. So factory set, format / factory set. And then it's going to say format data. And it says, yeah, data wipe complete. So great. This will remove encryption, delete all files, store in the internal storage, as well as format the cache. Great. So now we're just going to go back, return to the menu, side load the Lineage zip file, but do not reboot to the system before you read the following of the rest of the instructions. So on the device, elect apply update. So we're going to do apply update, apply from ADB. And then we're going to do still downloading. So I'm going to do is once I get this folder, I'm going to move it to the platform tools as I've been doing, run this command. Should pick up the zip file that I'm trying to do, because I'm only going to have one zip file in that folder. And we should be good. Let's see. Okay, so we got the file. We're going to go ahead and move it over to the platform tools because that's where all the ADB tools are. And that's where we're going to tell the computer to know to pick up that zip file. So we're going to Control C that command, go back to the terminal /, and I believe this one should just pick up. Nope. All right, guys, I'm back. I had to take a pause because I was having a lot of trial and error, but I think I figured it out. So I'm stuck in this last command, and what I was doing was, again, step 4, copy and pasting this one onto the terminal, and we put the file, the flash file, in the platform tools along with all those other tools. And this is the way the command needed to be written. The beginning dot and then /adb. That's not going to work. I need to delete this part here and just leave that, because again, we're in the folder. So after -d sideload, it's a /, then the name of the file, and then I was forgetting the .zip, so we needed to add that .zip at the bottom. And now it should work. So, apologies, it took a long time, but these things happen. So it's now doing its work. It's now sending the package you want to apply, supporting API 3, finding update package, verifying update package. So it's going to be doing its thing. Yeah, so going back here again. So as it mentions, after the package installed, it will tell you if you want some add-ons. So it says, to install additional packages, you may need to reboot recovery first. Do you want to recover now? So yeah, I'm going to do that. So yeah, I'm going to do yes. I do want those additional packages. So now it's doing a restart. Okay. So I'm going to go next step. Okay. So now it's telling me the same thing. Click update, apply from ADB, and I guess we're running that command again. Sequences. If you want to install Google Apps add-on package, use the ARM here. Yeah, I do want Google Apps, so I'm going to do this. This add-on needs to be installed before booting into Lineage for the first time. That's fine with me. And we're working with Lineage 23, so we're doing this top one here. But they want us to do the ARM64 architecture. So let's do ARM64, mind the GApps. Okay. We'll download the top one. We gotta get the zip. It's fine. Oh, and then we're just running the same command, but this time it's going to be changed to the file name of the GApps. So yeah, so bear with me. And then just disclaimer, if you don't take any action, the phone may, go on sleep. So then you'll have to make sure that you touch it responsive so the computer knows that connection's still happening. That's why some of my commands weren't working earlier too. Okay, so it's still going. So I'm going to get this command ready. I'm going to copy it. And just like we did with the Lineage OS command above here, it's going to look the same, slightly different though. /, get that ready. Come on. Perfect. So now we have the GApps that we need. We're going to move it like we did with the Lineage OS into the working folder. There it is. Great. And now we're going to double click so we can get the name. Perfect. Control that, copy it. Go into the terminal, Control V, paste it. Make sure, see, I'm not having the extension at the end, so we need to put .zip. Oh, that's right. That's right. I needed to do click apply update first. Apply from ADB. Now we can do it. So, yeah, I needed to do that first in the phone. So that. Let's take the name. .zip. There we go. Okay, great. So yeah, what I pretty much executed the same command like I did with Lineage, but now just for Google Apps. And it recommends doing that before booting into Lineage OS for the first time, if you do want Google Apps. It's going to take some time. Oh, it says when presented with the signature verification, failed. Click yes. It is expected as add-ons aren't signed with Lineage. So yeah, so this is good to see. We're going to say yes. And it's now doing its thing and it's done. So great. Installed complete with status 0. And then next step, once you've installed everything successfully, you can now reboot into your device, into the OS for the first time. So now we're going to do reboot system now. And then there you go. And that was it. If you're wondering about the next steps, continue, otherwise enjoy. So that was it, guys. We have installed Lineage OS. There's some information here. I'll let it pause. I'm not going to look into this. But the phone is now Lineage OS, guys.